Mhm.
Now, my next question is, what are the chances of securing an O-1A visa for someone with a master's degree and an approved I-140 under EB2-NIW? And what additional qualifications or evidence could improve their chances of approval?
So, I mean, the EB2 NIW is an interesting category because what the benefit of it is, first off, it's an immigrant visa application, but the benefit of it is it can be applied for self-petitioned, meaning that you don't need an employer, and you also don't have to go through the perm process. So people look to it and say, "Wow, that's awesome as an option," because it really allows you to step aside a lot of the problems that exist with going through perm and having to wait to get that EB2 or EB3 I-140. With your EB2 and IW, I mean, if you're able to file and you're current, you can apply for the green card, your AP, your EAD, which it does take about 6 months to get the EAD, but that's not that bad of a wait. Um, I will say with the NIW, I have heard anecdotally that USCIS has become a bit more stringent with what qualifies for national interest. That's something that seemed to be a little broader at the outset of the Biden administration. And I don't know if it's because they've received such an increase in these types of filings that it's led to a curtailing of how someone qualifies. But as a result, I have heard EB2 and IWs are getting tougher, and they've already traditionally been a tough category in the first place. The O1, on the other hand, is a non-immigrant visa. So if you're applying for that O1A, first off, the master's degree aspect of it. The master's degree is irrelevant for the sake of the O1A. It's not a requirement. It's something that you can show the strength of the candidate, but it's not something that you have to have versus the EB2 and IW where it's an absolute requirement. But with that O1A, as we've discussed, you do have that high evidentiary standard. You've got to meet that set number of categories. I would really argue exploring both options if it's possible. The reason for that being, you always need to make sure you have your non-immigrant status locked up. So if you have that non-immigrant status on that O1A, maybe you look at pursuing the EB2 and IW. That way you can move towards getting that approved I-140, and then you typically aren't going to have as long of a wait to file once your priority date's current. You're able to move forward with getting your EAD and your AP, and then you can work subject to that all the way up until it's time for your interview and everything.